So if you're a business owner, an expert, really anyone trying to build something unique, you can feel it, right? The ground is shifting under our feet. AI is here, and it is changing absolutely everything. In this explainer, we're going to break down a brand new strategy, a critical one, to help you not just survive, but actually thrive in this new age.
You know, the biggest threat you're facing right now is something you probably don't even see coming. It's this idea of the vapor work zone. Just think about it. This is the place where AI can spin up content that looks amazing, sounds super intelligent, but it's totally hollow. It's got high fluency, but zero integrity. And this is the danger. It's this massive gravitational pull that's dragging every single business toward a generic, bland, and totally forgettable middle. So I've got to ask you, straight up, is this happening to your business? Is the very thing that makes you special, your unique point of view, your hard-earned expertise, is it getting washed out? Just flattened and made invisible in this massive sea of AI-generated sameness? Because that is the core problem we have to solve right now.
All right, so to really get our heads around the solution, we first need to understand exactly how this threat works. We call it AI commoditization, and you can really see it happen in a few pretty distinct stages.
Okay, stage one. This is your business as it is today. It's got a sharp, clear identity. You stand for something specific, your customers get it, the market recognizes it. This is your unique value, totally crisp and in focus.
But then, what happens when AI agents start learning about you? Well, they scrape your website, they read your content, they see what other people are saying, and then they start to reinterpret it all. This is stage two. It is exactly like making a photocopy of a photocopy. Every time your story gets retold by an AI, a little bit of that precision, that meaning, gets lost. It starts to get blurry. This is semantic drift.
And that leads us to the final and honestly kind of terrifying stage, identity collapse. After enough of these AI translations, your once unique brand just becomes a generic smudge. Statistically, in the eyes of the AI agents that are about to run the web, you look exactly like your competitors. You've literally been averaged into oblivion.
Now here's the really fascinating part. There's actually a technical name for this. It's called model collapse. It's a real thing that happens when an AI starts training on its own synthetic data, or the output from other AIs. It starts to forget all the weird, unique, interesting stuff, the stuff out on the tails of the information bell curve, and it just doubles down on the average. It's an engine that's built to generate generic mush, and that engine is driving your business toward invisibility.
Okay, so that's the bad news. But what if there were a way to actually fight back? What if you could engineer your identity to be immune to this kind of collapse? Well, a brand new discipline has appeared, and it's designed for this exact challenge.
It's called betweener engineering. This is a term coined by Curtis Witt and the Black Friday Agency, and it's essentially a set of principles for deliberately building an identity that's so unique, so specific, that it simply can't be averaged out. The whole point is to create a category of one, a space in the market where you're the only real choice because you invented the game. Now, this discipline was built for a very specific future, the agentic web. That's a web where it's not just humans browsing, but autonomous AI agents doing most of the work finding and delivering information. And it's no surprise, this comes from the same minds that developed chronosemantic publishing, which is all about helping brands stay relevant in this new AI-first world.
So, you're probably asking, how on earth does this work? Well, betweener engineering isn't some kind of magic trick. It's about mastering three very specific, very learnable powers that let you completely reposition your business in the market.
These are the three pillars. First, you have to find the empty space, that in-between void. Second, you have to position yourself as the essential bridge that spans that void. And then third, you leverage that position to design a completely new category of one that you own. Let's dig into what each of those really means.
Power number one is all about mastering a concept called liminality. The word actually comes from the Latin word for threshold. And the idea is to find and strategically set up shop in the gaps between the established categories, instead of trying to fight for scraps inside them.
And this is the crucial mindset shift you have to make. See, traditionally, we think of being in between as this awkward temporary phase, right? We can't wait to get back to a solid, defined structure. But a betweener, they see that liminal space as a permanent strategic position of incredible power. Your status isn't defined by some title, it's defined by how you connect things. The goal isn't to pick a side, the goal is to own the threshold. Which brings us perfectly to power number two, become the essential bridge. In network science, there's a term for this. It's called maximizing your betweenness centrality. All that means is becoming the indispensable link between different groups, different ideas, or industries that otherwise would never talk to each other.
A perfect example from history is the famous ride of Paul Revere versus this other guy, William Dawes. They both had the same message, but Dawes, he failed. Why? Because he only rode through towns and talked to people who already knew each other. It was a redundant network. Revere, on the other hand, succeeded because he had high betweenness. He was the bridge connecting all these separate, diverse groups of people. He lit up a network of networks, and that changed everything. The real value always flows through the bridge.
And that leads us to the final power. Once you've found that void and you've become the bridge, now you get to do the amazing part. You get to design a category of one. This is the moment you stop competing and you start creating. You define a brand new category in the market that you, and only you, are perfectly qualified to lead. I mean, just think about the Chrysler minivan. They didn't go out and try to build a slightly better station wagon. That would have just been competing. No, instead, they spotted a missing category, a void, right between a car and a van. They gave it a name, minivan, they defined what it was, and in doing so, they became the undisputed category king for decades. All other comparisons just became irrelevant.
So what does this look like today, in the world of ideas and personal brands? Let's take a look at a couple of modern innovators who are absolute masters of this game.
Nassim Nicholas Taleb is a perfect betweener. He never fit neatly into the finance bro box or the philosopher box, so he created his own space by fusing these totally unrelated fields together.
Here's his formula. He took the brutal, real-world experience of options trading and smashed it together with the deep wisdom of classical philosophy. And the result? A completely new language for talking about risk and randomness, giving us concepts like anti-fragile, a word for things that actually get stronger from chaos. He literally created a category that could not have existed in either of those worlds alone.
And here's another incredible example you'll know. Marie Kondo didn't just teach people how to tidy up their closets. No, she created a whole new category that totally redefined a global industry. Her fusion was just brilliant. She took the boring, mundane task of home organization and blended it with the principles of Shinto animism, this idea that objects have a spirit. This transformed a chore into a deeply meaningful spiritual practice. Just by asking that one simple question, does it spark joy, she created the category of spiritual tidying, and she owns it completely.
So this all comes back to you. The principle here is crystal clear. AI is going to average out the average. Your only defense is to become so unique that you can't be averaged. So the critical question I want to leave you with is this. Look at your world, your skills, your passions. What gap, what structural hole between two established ideas or industries are you and only you uniquely positioned to fill? Because that is where you begin the journey of becoming a category of one.